Hello and welcome to the 16th of December. So we've really broken the back of this Whisky Advent calendar now. Got quite the roster up there on our leaderboard, and I think it's going really well. I've really enjoyed this. I've tried a few new things, some old favourites, and lots of really good whisky. So looking at that leaderboard, I would say over half of those are things that I would buy and quite enjoy. Probably from somewhere around this mark, somewhere around the tealing and the green isle. Anything there and above is a really good, really enjoyable whisky. So December the 16th, let's see what's behind the door. This Advent calendar is looking more and more abused by the day. Not having much luck opening these doors without just ripping the thing apart. What have we got? Fettercairn. So Fettercairn is a Whyte and Mackay distillery, so owned by the same company as Jura and Dalmore and a bunch of others. And Fettercairn, I must admit, it's not one of my favourite distilleries. They are a Highland distillery, I believe, and out of the whisky that I have tried from Fettercairn, it tends to be reasonably characterful, usually quite heavily sherried, sometimes a little bit peated. It's not bad whisky, but they do have a habit of bottling, generally not at minimum strength, but fairly low ABV. And this Fettercairn that we've got here today is the 12-year-old, which isn't one that I've had before. I've had a few of their no-age statement expressions in the past, but sadly this one is bottled at the bare minimum 40% ABV. So it'll be interesting to see. I think the expressions that I've tried before is the Fettercairn Fior and the Fettercairn Fask, and from what I remember, the Fior had a little bit of peat going on, and it's a little bit more to my preference than the Fask. Be interesting to see if this 12-year-old, at a lower strength than the no-age statement expressions, has a little bit more complexity, or if that low ABV means that the no-age statement expressions are a little bit better. Let's get it in the glass and find out. Also mention, you probably didn't see there, but on the label of this miniature, Master of Malt have actually put a Scottish unicorn, because the unicorn, I believe, is basically the logo, the mascot symbol, whatever you want to call it, of the Fettercairn distillery. And of course the unicorn has a long history of association with Scotland. I'm not sure if the unicorn is actually the Scottish national animal, possibly, but you'll definitely see the unicorn being associated with Scotland in a lot of places, including the coat of arms of the United Kingdom. Anyway, let's see if what is inside the bottle is as legendary as what is on the label. So that's pretty pleasant. It's actually really nice and sweet and bright. And as I remember with the other no-age statement Fettercairns that I've tried before, there's quite a lot of sherry in this. But it's a very sweet, young, bright, youthful sherry. It's not your Oloroso or your Fino sherries. It's nothing dry or meaty or complex, really. But that is a very pleasant nose. It's also a rather dry maltiness on the nose of this one, and some notes of sort of sweet and sour berries, maybe something like blueberries, and also something like toasted bread. So on the one hand you've got this rather sweet and youthful, sweet sherried berry, blueberry, fruity, very, very sweet fruitiness, and on the other hand you've got this rather dry, slightly bitter, toasted malt character. But overall, that's not a bad nose, especially seeing as it's only bottled at 40%. That's got plenty going on, and it's not too bad. Let's see how it tastes. Now, right away, I'm going to say that that's not quite as good as the nose, and you do find that quite often, or at least I do find that quite often, that when a whisky's bottled at 40%, quite often it can have a really, really nice nose, but the palate just hasn't got that power and complexity to back it up. And another problem that I'm getting with this one is that there is quite a bitter note on the palate, and I'm not enjoying that too much, if I'm honest. I've also got some more sort of toasted oak notes, a little bit of maltiness, but that bitterness keeps coming back again and again. And I'm wondering if some of that bitterness might be coming from some sherry casks, but whatever it's coming from, I think it's a little bit too much. And I think at this low strength, there just isn't enough other flavours to back it up and balance it out. As for the finish, I don't think that the length of the finish is really that applicable to this one, because the finish is really just a combination of that lingering bitterness and some fairly mild malty notes. So overall, I'm going to say that it's not as bad as I expected, probably. It's not as underpowered as it could have been, somehow. Compared to the other Fettercairn whiskies that I've had, this is not as good as the Fettercairn 12yo. I'd say it's probably about equal with the Fettercairn Fask. So I'm interested to hear in the comments, what do you think of this Fettercairn 12-year-old and the other Fettercairn whiskies? And what are some distilleries that you, how do I put this diplomatically, some distilleries that you just don't get on with? Because we're all different, we all like different things, and there might be some people out there that really like this one. And to be fair, it's not bad, it's just a little disappointing. So I look forward to hearing from you and what you think. Cheers.